It's the Blitz here on 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM. If you're on the go, ESPNSA.com, a perfect locale because you could watch the head football coach of your Fighting Cardinals, the Incarnate Word University head coach, Eric Morris, joining us here on ESPN San Antonio. Coach, welcome aboard. It is beginning of March, and you're about to come into the third scheduled game of this awkward season. You've had the first two postponed or canceled. Man, how's your altitude? How you living right now?
Well, it's been bizarre, a bizarre last 12 or 13 months, but we're finally there. It's taken forever to get there. You know, I've had a ton of phone calls and team meetings where I've had to disappoint the kids over the course of the last 7 or 8 months, whether it's suspending the season, suspend our whole fall season. Then we get Arkansas State on the schedule, had to pop a couple tests there, here and there, didn't have enough to play. So I guess we got to Tuesday that week, had to call them and tell them that game was off. And then last week, it was more of an act of God here in San Antonio. A little bit different dealing with that one, just as far as, myself, I didn't have heat or water for 3 days. We went into straight survival mode. So that was a little different, but we're fired up. We got our test results back. We're full 100% go and ready to get on the bus tomorrow and head to Lake Charles. Praise the Lord, right?
Absolutely. I mean, you get that game against McNeese State. Frank Wilson, obviously former UTSA coach, is down there now. And you think about what you've gone through. He had to mix in a hurricane and all the aftermath from the hurricane there. So, I mean, just the idea that you're finally, you're getting on a bus and you're going to go play a football game. Do you almost pinch yourself and say, man, we're actually going to do this one?
Yeah, I don't even know what it's going to feel like again. Usually you get those jitters right before kickoff. So, I think it'll become surreal finally for the kids when we run out of the locker room together and we're able to, line up for the coin toss and watch that first kickoff get actually kicked off will be, just a moment of joy for us. And I think this is one thing that's taught us not only as a football program, but us as a whole entire country, is not to take any of these things for granted, especially sports. So, I'm really happy that these kids are finally going to have the opportunity to get out there and do something they love. We've practiced so damn much for the last 7 or 8 months. I'm tired of practicing. I'm tired of hitting one another. It's like our offense and defense know each other so well. It'll be fun to get out there and compete on the gridiron against another opponent. And what a great opponent to be able to face a Frank Wilson coach team.
No kidding. Absolutely. Coach Eric Morris joining us here on ESPN San Antonio. Incarnate Word heading to Lake Charles, McNeese State on Saturday. When last we saw your team, Coach, you led the country in turnovers. It was a flying around defense, lots of fun to watch, and lots of great expectations for last season as we head into week 3, but game 1. What can we expect from this year's team?
Yeah, I'm excited to see. I'm anxious, to be honest with you, just to see kind of how far we've come along through these practices. And so the one thing that's interesting, you're going to see a lot of fresh faces out there. We're going to play quite a few true freshmen in this game. But really, I told them in a meeting last week, I don't look at them as true freshmen. They practice so much. They've been in our weight program for 6 or 7 months now. They've ran through these plays. They know our playbook like the back of their hand. So it's really going to benefit those young guys, I think, as far as being able to get out there and make an impact on the game early on in their careers. So you'll see that. And then, last year we started off hot. I think halfway through the conference, we were winning the conference again, battled through some injuries late, started a lot of young true freshman receivers down the stretch. And that's somewhere we need to improve in. So we're going to start 3 transfer receivers, guys that have come in from junior college or transferred from 4-year programs. So you'll see a lot of new faces, but I think from top to bottom, I think this will be the best football team that we've put on the field in the 3 years we've been here. So really excited to see them get out there and see if we can, get some first downs, get some stops, some turnovers, and win a damn football game.
UIW head coach Eric Morris with us here on ESPN San Antonio. What you just heard from Coach Morris, you don't hear from many coaches. Tired of practicing. They just want to get out there and win the damn football. When was the last time you heard a coach say, I'm tired of practicing? Most coaches just love to practice, right? I mean, but it feels like it's been the longest off season in history, doesn't it?
Oh, there's no doubt. And so, I think the one thing that was, a little bit, weird in the sense for us is that we were practicing, we were testing, we were going through the protocols that everybody else in the country was through the fall. except for we get to Saturdays and we have to sit on our couch and watch the TV games while the rest of the country's playing. And so that was something, I don't think that, that sit very well for our kids, just to be able to put in that hard work, the blood, sweat, and tears that we do, and still going to school, doing all the normal things. But guess what? No football game. So finally to get to this point to where we're, in Thursday of a game week, and tomorrow we actually get to get on a bus and travel. Although the travel is just, going to be a nightmare. Luckily for me, I have a lot of friends that went through it and they learned and made a lot of mistakes. So, for instance, instead of 2 buses, we're taking 4, we're spreading everybody out. They have to be, socially distanced, mask on at all times, taking breaks just so we can get off the bus and be able to eat, go to the bathroom. And so it's going to be weird, but literally I think our kids would go to extreme measures right now just to get that opportunity to run on the field and experience those 3 hours with their brothers of playing the great game of football.
I'll tell you, I can't imagine having practiced for 8 months before I got a game. I'm not going to kid you, Coach. I probably would hate the sight of you after 8 months of consecutive practice. Seeing my coach come, here we go again. Let's do it one more time before we get it done.
I've run out of material to talk to them about, and two, this is the 3rd time that I've kind of, you go and as a coach, you kind of start off slow and you want to kind of get into a crescendo of getting them ready to play later in the week. And so we've been on these builds and you let down. You've been on a build and you let down. And so finally today, and I told them, I said, listen, guys, I got nothing left. I don't have some kind of heroic message. I'm not going to deliver another message to you. Like if our blood is not boiling by the time we run out of the tunnel, then honestly, I think you need to find another sport to play than football. Like let's go out there and let's get it on.
It's incredible what you guys have gone through. Just the fact that you're getting ready to play what is labeled a spring season. Although, I go back and I think about, when we had the Commanders here in the Alliance League, that was considered spring, but the weather was still so freaking cold. It's really a deep winter league. What has your practices been like as you're gearing up? The game with Sam Houston last week was supposed to be the home opener, moved towards the end of this season, but just now you're getting ready for a game and you have the snowstorm and the ice last week, just preparing for this game. Then you get the weather interruption. What has practices been like with the brutal cold that we've had to deal with?
Listen, I'm played under Mike Leach, played for Mike Leach, and I coach for Mike Leach. And, we were at Washington State. We had an indoor and we didn't use it one time when I was there because he believed in going out and practicing in the element. So we practice in the mornings. We're on the field at 6:30 every morning and done by 8:30 off the field. So, I think that's just a little mental toughness for the guys. Obviously, we weren't allowed to practice for that week just because our kids didn't have heat and water in the dorms, and so we were kind of worrying about other things. But no, as far as elements go, I'm not a big believer at not getting out there and practicing, whether it's 15 degrees outside or whether it's 101 degrees outside. So we're going to have to play in it, but we've been practicing in the morning. Luckily, this is one of our first games here where we're playing at noon. So I think that'll actually be our advantage just because when we do practice, we're used to getting up. We're staying in Beaumont. And so, we'll get up at 6:45 a.m., eat breakfast, have a couple of walkthroughs, get on the bus, and it'll just be like a normal day for us, get ready for a noon kick.
Might be the first time I've ever heard anybody sound excited about staying in Beaumont.
Listen, everything to me right now, I'm so excited. Like McNeese, they went through the terrible flood. So, I get an email the other day where the PA is probably not going to work, no music, the scoreboard's out. And I'm like, listen, used to, I'd be thinking of all these crazy things in my head where that's going to be a disadvantage. And I'm like, I do not care where you tell us to play, what time, what city. It is not, and not even from a toughness standpoint. All the coaches are always like, yeah, meet us in the parking lot, we'll battle you, like whatever, But this is just it's been so long for the kids, just to see them and for them to get to experience the joy again of playing this sport is something that I'm excited about.
Kind of a self-induced kind of junction boy situation. If you made it this far, you want it, you love it, and you have to have it. And they're finally going to get it on Saturday. Now, you talked a little bit about the travel, and you got to learn a bit from all the others that played back in the fall. So what is the schedule like tomorrow? You're going to go on the buses? Are you going to just completely bubble up until they literally hit the stadium? What's it going to be like to make your first road trip like this?
Yeah, and basically what we've done is we've kind of added so much space within the buses, and we've limited our numbers for traveling. So usually we travel about 75 kiddos, and I think we're going to travel 62 or 63 to this game. Limiting the staff that's going with us. Usually a bunch of administrators go and things like that. So we're taking the necessities. I mean, we're going to take all of our support staff, obviously, here in the building, and then all of our trainers and such. But other than that, we're not just loading people up to go have a good time and enjoy a weekend of watching ball. We're just trying to eliminate the contact tracing. Our doctors have done a great job. Our trainers have done a great job putting together a great plan. And so, if you're not essential to us winning the game, then there's a good chance you're on the chopping block of making the trip.
It's funny you say that, because I know you're leaving the radio crew at home, but the game will be televised on ESPN3, so people will be able to tune in and watch it Saturday on ESPN3. But you talk about guys essential. It's funny. Rob talked about your defense earlier. You're Eric Morris. Let's talk about your offense. Let's talk with your quarterback about your quarterback. You're going with a freshman.
Yeah. So and probably will play Kevin some too. Yeager, who played for us a year ago, but really excited about where we're at that position right now. Like I said, I think if COVID wouldn't have happened, then one of these guys right here that we're talking about that are both freshmen is not going to get this opportunity right now, just because when we came back from this and we had so many freshmen at practices and we had to space out. So what we did is we didn't go against the defense for like a month. Okay. And so we go out on offense, and on one side of the field, we have our ones. In the middle, we have our twos. On the other side, we have our threes, and we're just going on air. So all these kids are getting just thousands of reps over the course of a month. And we start getting into it, and it's like, well, this kid looks pretty good right now. And so, kind of start shocking you. But in a normal situation, a normal fall practice as a freshman, you're usually not going to have those opportunities and even get those reps. So, by the way of COVID, I think we found a couple things that we liked and we think are going to be, some marquee players for us around here for the next 4 or 5 years. So, I'm a silver lining guy. I'm not a guy that's always going to sit here and think of the cup as half full. I mean, it's half empty. I'm a half full guy. And so we got a ton of good work. It's funny how some of the things come to fruition. We got a right tackle starting for us. That's a true freshman from Nacogdoches. Same thing there. He was a little bit undersized. I think he got here. He was 274 pounds or something when he got here. And they weighed in yesterday, and, he's 297 now, and he's had 7 months in the weight room. He's been able to be on our nutrition plan. And same thing, I don't think we would have given him the chance if it wasn't for, this bizarre timing of the way everything happened. So I love where we're at. I think, offensively, as far as, explosive playmakers, speed, size on the O-line, quarterback arm strength, I think we have a chance to be as good as we've been since we've been here.
Hey, Coach, let me tell you how much things have changed. The very fact that you talked about an incoming freshman tackle that was 274 and in your mind was undersized. Jason Minnix and I have seen some Incarnate Word football games over the years. He would have been the biggest dude on a couple of the teams that had ever played. Let me tell you, that tells you where Incarnate Word is as we sit.
It's the only time I've ever heard anybody excited about the freshman 15, which was actually about the freshman 21. I mean, most people don't want the freshman. You guys' meal plan must be pretty good over there at Incarnate Word.
Yeah, good meal plan. Yeah, I don't think it's the freshman 15 from pounding on, some Coors Lights or something like that, which actually happened to me. My college coach actually brought me in after my freshman year. And first of all, I was one of those guys. I think 162 pounds when I got to Texas Tech, and all these other receivers are bigger. So I thought I needed to gain weight. And, I went on the Whataburger and Coors Light diet there for my freshman year, and didn't end up being very good for me. So I got off that diet in a hurry, dropped back to playing weight, and did a great job of being a 3-year starter after that.
I remember when Cliff Kingsbury got up to Texas Tech, and a tall, skinny kid from New Braunfels. They wanted to fatten him up. If I remember right, they had him eating 15 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches a day trying to put some weight on him.
Yeah, the PB&Js are, those are old school. We still do them here. We had a peanut butter and jelly bar here. Now, it's been different because they have to be pre-made and already packaged. And, used to, we had a bar where you go in and you make your own sandwich. And now since COVID, obviously, we've come accustomed to all these new ways of living. But, we still have plenty of snacks out for the boys and all the muscle milk and things like that. So.
Coach Morris joining us here on ESPN San Antonio. Incarnate Word has McNeese State on at noon on Saturday. You can catch the game on ESPN3. But real quickly, getting ready for McNeese, they have a game under the belt, had a good one. They get a win. Got some film there. Did you spend a lot of time on old UTSA tape to get ready for Wilson, or is it just you got enough film with one?
Yeah, and it's hard to go back, and it's not the same coordinator. They have two of the position coaches were with him at UTSA. So we know that they watched that film and, went back and studied about things that worked and didn't work against us. And so, personnel wise, we got a lot from the Tarleton film that they had. And so hopefully that'll be an advantage for us, the fact that we're able to. Now, you can go the other way too and say they got the first game jitters out and, everybody coach talk always says, from week 1 to week 2, that's when you show your greatest improvement. So, it'll be, we'll see. Both of us have a little bit of a different advantage here, but we didn't spend a ton of time. We flew through, as a staff, just that tape, just to kind of catch a couple things. And we've shown some kids some looks on the field of things, blitzes and stuff that hurt us last year that UTSA did. But all in all, we spent more time on watching that one game that we have on them against Tarleton.
Well, Coach, congratulations on making it this far. It is one of those seasons and teams for the ages that we're not ever going to forget, but you're finally going to get to exercise some of it on the field. Saturday, noon. Get it going. Coach, thanks for joining us. We're looking forward to a fun season. No doubt. Jason, at some point we're going to have to get on this barbecue grill together. I see you on the egg, on the Traeger, all that stuff. So I usually have the egg or Traeger fired up about 3 times a week. So
and I'm with you there. Now Rob got a Traeger delivered yesterday. He hasn't put it together yet, and I keep telling him to call somebody. But we'll do some barbecuing at some point for sure. We'll have some people there. Maybe we'll join up somewhere and have some taste testers and see who can win a little barbecue cook-off. Deal. Incarnate Word, Saturday noon, McNeese State, the season beginning. Thanks, Coach. We'll talk to you next week. Good luck this weekend. Thanks for your time. Have a good one. Pleasure having Coach Morris. He'll be with us all season long as they embark on what has been a strange offseason and the beginning of a spring season. Hey.